Hello, everyone, and welcome to this questions and answers teleconference. We'll get right to our first question here. What is the Rosicrucian overall exercise? And this is a Rosicrucian meditation that awakens the psychic consciousness in each of our cells. And we're going to practice this in a moment. Psychic consciousness is the energy that penetrates, vivifies, and animates our whole being, making us conscious of ourself and of our environment. Here is what a Rosicrucian manuscript says about psychic consciousness. It permeates the cells of our physical body and controls the physiological activity for which they have been programmed. It controls the cellular life expressing itself throughout our whole metabolism, and it helps to maintain our body's involuntary functions. Psychic consciousness also plays an indispensable role in interpreting the phenomena which our objective faculties are unable to detect, things that we can't see or smell or taste. In other words, it is responsible for extrasensory perception. The solar system is permeated by a cosmic essence that emanates from the sun and constitutes in itself the source of life. With each inhalation, this cosmic essence penetrates our being and, through the bloodstream, vitalizes each of our cells. We may state that it likewise vitalizes the psychic counterpart of the cell's nucleus, with the oxygen that is taken from the air merely imparting the needed chemical energy. So when we inhale, we breathe in oxygen, and we also breathe in the life-giving essence that Rosicrucians call cosmic essence or vital life force. In other traditions, this is called the prana or chi. In fact, I've seen about 25 different descriptions of this life-giving essence. We can awaken the psychic consciousness in each of our cells through this exercise that we're going to do in a moment called the Rosicrucian overall exercise. And we do this by focusing on different parts of our being as we take deep positive breaths. And this means that we inhale completely, we hold our breath while our lungs are full, and when we exhale, we don't hold our breath. We breathe right back in again. So it's holding our breath while our lungs are full. And this stimulates the positive polarity of the vital life force. So we're going to practice the Rosicrucian overall exercise now. If you would please close your eyes and sit relaxed. Have your back straight but not rigid. Take a deep breath. Hold your breath for as long as is comfortable. And when you exhale, exhale completely. Nice, long, slow exhalation. And don't hold your breath on the exhalation. Just very comfortably breathe back in again. And again, you will hold your breath while your lungs are full. So please do that while I lead our overall exercise. So you'll continue the breathing, that particular type of breathing. So focus your attention on a tiny vibrating cell in your left big toe. Feel the energy vibrating there. Now expand your awareness to your entire left foot. Now, feel the energy vibrating in your right big toe. And expand your awareness to your entire right foot. Again, while you continue to take comfortable, positive breaths, holding your breath when the lungs are full. Now, place your attention on your left lower leg. And now your right lower leg. Now your left upper leg. And your right upper leg. Your hips. Your abdomen. Now, place your attention on your chest. Feel the energy vibrating there. Now feel the energy vibrating in the fingers of your left hand. You can probably feel tingling in your fingers. And expand your awareness to your entire left hand. Now, the fingers on your right hand. And your entire right hand. Your left forearm. Your right forearm. Your left upper arm. Your right upper arm. Now, place your attention at the base of your spine and feel the energy vibrating there. As you draw your attention up your spine, be aware of the energy vibrating in your lower back, your middle back, your upper back, your neck, I forgot your shoulders. Place your attention on your shoulders. And again, your neck, your jaw, your mouth, your ears, your nose, your eyes, your brain, feel your entire being vibrating in perfect resonance. The energy that penetrates, vivifies, and animates your whole being, making you conscious of yourself and of your environment. Has been awakened and stimulated. And be aware of your inner state. And when you're ready, begin to breathe regularly rather than with the positive breaths. Just breathe like you normally do and open your eyes. So that's the Rosicrucian overall exercise. Here is our next question. Do Rosicrucians believe that the sun at the center of our solar system is a spiritual being? My understanding from what I've read in the Rosicrucian monographs is that no, we do not see the sun as a spiritual being. Our teachers don't suggest that. Here is some of what the Rosicrucian teachings say about the sun. The sun represents life, for without the warmth, light, and cosmic essence emanating from it to Earth, no living being could exist. For initiates, the sun has always represented divine fire, divine light, and by extension, enlightenment. This also explains why it symbolizes for them the knowledge that is acquired through initiation. Generally speaking, we can say that the sun symbolizes the state of perfection which humans must attain at the end of our successive reincarnations, where we will once again become one with the divine source from whence we emanated. The sun acts directly on the psychic consciousness of all our cells and maintains harmony among them. Rosicrucian healing is based on our ability to stimulate the sympathetic ganglia by using positive or negative magnetism emanating from either our dominant or our non-dominant hand, and specifically using the thumb and the first two fingers. So if you're right-handed, your right hand is your dominant hand. Magnetism corresponds to this unbelievable influx of life, which is analogous to a blood transfusion. It is a transfusion of human vital life force. Cosmic essence is transmitted to us through the rays of the sun. It comes from a source beyond the sun. The sun is really just mind-blowing when you think of the amount of power and energy there. Our sun is a 4.5 billion year old star, a hot glowing ball of hydrogen and helium at the center of our solar system. When a star is at the center of any planetary system, it's called a sun. And there are some planetary systems that have two suns, and even some more than that. According to Discover magazine, the Milky Way galaxy alone contains billions of stars, though when branching out from our corner in the universe, NASA estimates the cosmos itself may contain up to 1 septillion stars. Now, you get extra credit if you know what a septillion is. It has 24 zeros behind it. And among these, one of them is our precious sun. The sun is about 93 million miles from Earth, or 150 million kilometers. It's the largest object in our solar system. The sun's volume would need, take a guess, how many Earths do you think it would require to make the sun? 1.3 million Earths to be the same volume as the sun. If the sun were as tall as a typical front door, how big do you think Earth would be? So imagine your front door, a typical front door, compared to the sun, which is the door. Earth would be about the size of a nickel, of a US nickel. So about that big. The sun's gravity holds the solar system together, keeping everything from the biggest planets to the smallest bits of debris in orbit around it. The sun doesn't have a solid surface because it's a ball of super hot, electrically charged gas called plasma. It doesn't spin as a single solid ball. At its equator, the sun completes one rotation in 25 Earth days at its equator. But at its poles, the sun rotates once on its axis every 36 Earth days. So 25 days at the equator of the sun, and at the poles, 36 Earth days. The temperature in the sun's core is about 27 million degrees Fahrenheit, which is 15 million degrees Celsius, hot enough to sustain nuclear fusion. This creates outward pressure that supports the star's gigantic mass, keeping it from collapsing. The energy created by this thermonuclear fusion is the source of light and warmth in our galaxy. Have any of you experienced in the past couple of days a feeling that something is different in our solar system? From the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the United States, a severe geomagnetic storm watch was in effect for January 20th, yesterday, due to the Earth arrival of a coronal mass ejection. The coronal mass ejection blasted from the sun on Sunday. And this was in association with an energetic, a strong solar flare from a sunspot region near the center disk. And then it took a while to reach Earth. When coronal mass ejections and streams of solar wind reach Earth, they cause our planet's magnetic field to shake, moving back and forth. According to sciencenews.org, scientists do not believe that geomagnetic storms can end life on Earth or hurt humans or other beings. Although researchers are studying the effects of stronger magnetic fields on humans and have found that although they are unaware of it, the fields affect their alpha brain waves. So if something felt a little bit different the past couple of days, it may have been due to this geomagnetic storm. People subconsciously respond to Earth's magnetic field, although it is not clear exactly why or how our brains use this information. Rosicrucian healing is based on our ability to stimulate the sympathetic ganglia by using the negative or positive magnetism emanating from our dominant or non-dominant hand. As I mentioned before, specifically from the thumb and the first two fingers. Magnetism corresponds to this infusion of life. Cosmic essence is transmitted to us through the rays of the sun. In philosophy, the sun is connected with generosity. The sun is just always giving. In the Martinist tradition, you would be familiar with the saying, the sun refuses no one its astral influence, and every created being receives a ray of its divine substance. So now we're going to practice another meditation. And with all of these, don't do these if you're driving. And I invite you to, again, sit very relaxed, close your eyes, and just focus on your breathing for a while. When we practice this attunement with the sun, we can see the sun in our mind's eye, or we can have an image of the sun, either an image of the actual sun, like a photograph or a video, or the chemical symbol for the sun, which is a circle with a point in the middle. And if you want to look at the sun now, you can see on our screen a video, a time lapse of the sun that was taken by NASA. So in a moment, we're going to intone the vowel sound OM, O-M, while harmonizing with the sun. And again, you can look at this video of the sun, but harmonize, attune with the actual sun. When you feel yourself to be in harmony with the sun, you're going to stop intoning the vowel sound and concentrate on the idea of the sun radiating its influence upon you, thus contributing to the stimulation of your generosity. While maintaining this concentration, you will visualize the word generosity with as much conviction as possible. So we're going to practice this now. Take 3 deep breaths, becoming more relaxed with each exhalation. Now I'm going to play the vowel sound OM from the Rosicrucian Vowel Sound app to get you started intoning Om. We'll all do this at our own rate.
Om.
So now begin intoning Om. Ready? Inhale. Om. Continue on your own while looking at the sun. When you're ready, feel yourself in harmony with the sun. Stop intoning the vowel sound and concentrate on the idea of the sun radiating its influence upon you. While maintaining this concentration, visualize the word generosity with as much conviction as possible. You may find it helpful to write the word generosity as though you're writing on a whiteboard or a blackboard. Then let yourself drift into cosmic communion while maintaining a state of receptivity. When you're ready, end your meditation and open your eyes. Okay, here is our next question. What is the Rosicrucian point of view on the value of psychotherapy and trauma healing. The Rosicrucian lessons don't comment on psychotherapy or trauma healing. And as with everything in the Rosicrucian teachings, there's no dogma. Each Rosicrucian is encouraged to research and experiment and find what best contributes to their personal growth. So this is up to each individual. The lessons do encourage introspection, and I'm not saying that's the same as psychotherapy, but that is a part of the Rosicrucian teachings. And there are techniques for establishing harmony on all levels of our being, like we've been doing. There are some specific techniques that are recommended for mental health. There are techniques for our physical health, our emotional health, our mental health. For mental health, we're encouraged to spend time in nature. And a few years ago, Stanford University found that this affects a certain part of our brain that ruminates. So being out in nature can help our mental health because it slows down the ruminating action. And the Rosicrucian monographs tell us that it's good for our mental health to be inspired by beauty. We're also encouraged to eat well and to exercise for our mental health. We can give commands to our subconscious mind, especially before we go to sleep. There's a lesson where we replay a situation that didn't turn out how we wanted it to and how we would have liked it to turn out. And I understand that this is a technique that's used in certain therapy. We are encouraged to engage in activities that compel us to concentrate on positive thoughts and emotions, such as reading a mystical work, watching a film that inspires us or educates us or makes us laugh, to listen to music that we especially like, and to listen to music from happier times, also to express gratitude for our mental health, because then we're focusing on things that went well, things that we like. And again, these aren't replacements for healing trauma or for psychotherapy. These are just some ways that the Rosicrucian teachings address our mental health. The next question is, can you please explain how Helena Blavatsky, founder of the Theosophical Society, was connected to the Rosicrucians? So she's often called Madame Blavatsky. She was a Russian mystic who co-founded the Theosophical Society, and she was a major force in modern mysticism. She lived from 1831 to 1891. So H. Spencer Lewis was born in 1883. So he was only 8 years old when he was only 8 years old when Madame Blavatsky passed on. So they weren't in contact with each other. Both of them were pivotal figures in the 1800s and 1900s in Western esotericism. And they both claimed ancient spiritual heritages. They had distinct but somewhat overlapping mystical movements that focused on ancient wisdom, on spiritual development, and on connecting with hidden traditions. And H. Spencer Lewis was the co-founder of AMWORK in 1915. And his lineage came from the Rosicrucians of France, and he blended Egyptian symbolism with themes of self-improvement and esoteric study. And he popularized Rosicrucian ideas in a modern and very accessible way. Madame Blavatsky introduced Eastern philosophies, especially Buddhist and Hindu, and esoteric wisdom. And she claimed that she had contact with masters whom she called Mahatmas. And this influenced many people in the Western world. She ignited a broad interest in universal wisdom. H. Spencer Lewis included an Eastern master named Kutumi in the Rosicrucian teachings. And Kutumi is said to be one of the masters who inspired the founding of the Theosophical Society in 1875. In Theosophy, it's believed that Kutumi, this master who lives on another plane, engaged in a correspondence with two English theosophists living in India. H. Spencer Lewis spoke highly of Madame Blavatsky. In 1929, he wrote an article called A Few Words of Appreciation and Explanation. And here's what he wrote. Madame Blavatsky's life was a life sacrifice that she might teach others and inspire them to awaken the master within, and thereby become, quote, miracle workers in their own lives. She was but one of the great avatars in peace who have been used by the cosmic and the masters as a channel or instrument. So he goes on to speak very highly of her and concludes with, Madame Blavatsky is one of us and with us, beloved and revered, and awaited by those who always knew her and love her still. End quote. So H. Spencer Lewis wholeheartedly expressed his admiration and appreciation for Helena Blavatsky. And there is no connection between the Theosophical Society and the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. So it's not a formal connection. It's that the founder of Amorc admired the co-founder of the Theosophical Society. And again, she really paved the way for other esoteric organizations who would come after her. And then a second part of this question, would you discuss some of the main similarities and key differences between Theosophy and Rosicrucianism? And I'm sorry, but I'm not familiar enough with Theosophy to speak on this. Okay, our next question. According to Rosicrucian teachings, a certain vowel sound intoned in Rosicrucian convocations was one of the most used by the Essenes in therapeutic to relieve pain and induce sleep. This is because it has a stimulating effect on the adrenal glands, which produce cortisol, which the teachings state has an analgesic and sleep-inducing effect. If the adrenal glands are stress glands and secrete cortisol and other steroid hormones, which can disrupt our metabolism and other bodily processes, how does this align with the teachings that state stimulation of the adrenals has analgesic and sleep-inducing effects? So pain relief and helping us to sleep. Can this vowel sound be intoned frequently without any adverse effects, such as increasing cortisol levels, which can have adverse effects to health? So, as always with the Rosicrucian teachings, we experiment and see what works for us. There are certain Rosicrucian vowel sounds that we're encouraged to intone and then wait 30 minutes before we intone them intensely again. So you may want to try that if you think there may be an issue. So that's with any of the vowel sounds. And the adrenal glands help with pain relief primarily through the fight or flight hormones, epinephrine, also called adrenaline, and norepinephrine, which temporarily block pain signals during acute stress. And cortisol, a steroid hormone, this is naturally produced in our bodies, that reduces inflammation and modulates pain perception over time. The adrenal glands help regulate sleep primarily through the stress hormone cortisol, which, along with melatonin, manages the circadian rhythm, the sleep-wake cycle. The adrenal glands help with healing primarily through releasing stress hormones like cortisol, which manages inflammation and energy, and noradrenaline, boosting blood flow and oxygen for immediate repair. They also produce aldosterone for fluid balance and androgens for development, integrating neuronal, immune, and metabolic signals crucial for the body's overall response to injury and stress. And the adrenal glands sit on top of our kidneys, and we have techniques that help to stimulate many different parts in our being that are where a lot of nerves come together, either a gland, an organ, or in one case, a plexus. So we're given these techniques very early in the Rosicrucian tradition, in the Rosicrucian teachings, so that we can help to create this balance throughout our entire being, often through the release of hormones that then help to regulate and create radiant health. So thank you all so much for your questions for this teleconference. Always nice to receive these and have a chance to connect with you.